Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tea with Carolina. I'm Carolina LeGrant from Teach Through Play, where we help you reach your dreams for your child's future. And I'm really excited about this week's question because it happens to be a question that I think I might get more than any other question I ever receive, honestly. I have so many parents who say to me, I feel like I'm not creative. Have you ever said that to yourself? Have you ever felt like that was your challenge when playing with your child? Well, this week is for you. So, and in fact, it's so essential of a question. I've had it so often lately that I've decided I'm going to do a class on this topic on September 17th. So if today's video feels particularly helpful to you or particularly relevant for your program, for your child, stay tuned at the end of the video and I will tell you all about this awesome class I'm going to do on this topic. Online, you can sit in the comfort of your own home. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so let's get to today's question. Today, we have a question from a mom named Jessica, and her son, Sam, is 6 years old. She says, "Hi, Carolina. I'm hoping you can help me because lately I'm really feeling stuck in my playtime with Sam. We started our program a year ago, and at first I was really enjoying myself. But now it feels like Sam is bored with the games we're playing. It's like I've been playing the same games over and over and over again for the past year, and they're just not fun anymore. I don't think Sam finds them fun, and I know that I'm bored with them. He keeps asking to leave the playroom, and then he wants to go and watch Sesame Street on TV. Do you have ideas on how to help me create new games to play that might keep him interested longer? Mostly we've been building cities for his trains to drive through. Or I've been giving him lots of sensory stuff like tickling him and giving him foot massages. Sam's current love is for trains, but he also likes anything with a sensory component. Plus, he loves Sesame Street and could probably recite every episode to you." Thank you for your help, Jessica. So I want to tell you, first thing I think that's most important to think about here. As we discuss any new games or variations on the games you've been playing to bring in with Sam, remember the most important part of creativity, and that is that the game you're bringing in is not nearly as important as how excited you are about that game. This, I want to tell you again, it's more important how excited you are than what game you're offering, all right? Because I see a lot of parents come to me and say, "Oh my gosh, Carolina, you have so many great ideas," or "I would never have thought of that," or "I just don't feel like I have any fun games to offer." But the thing is, it doesn't matter what kind of game you have to offer. It matters how excited you are when presenting that. So, for example, I was just hanging out with a friend of mine, and her daughter is 2 years old, and I was noticing what I see all the time with kids of all ages, which is that the simplest game can be so exciting for them. So my friend's 2-year-old, she had a ball and she had a bucket. And so I took the ball and I was like, "Oh," and I dropped it in the bucket, right? And she looks at me like it was the most exciting thing in the world. So I took the ball out of the bucket and then I dropped it in the bucket again. And I went, "Yay!" And she got so excited. And we played this game where we took the ball out of the bucket and put it in various things around the house for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. And all it was a ball and a bucket. That's all that you really need, honestly. It's so important to understand that it's not about the game itself. It's about the connection and the fun that you have as you're offering that game. So, just for example, I'm going to give you some new ideas today, Jessica, but if you wanted to continue the games that you are already playing because they're working, I love that he wanted to build cities for his trains. Maybe part of the reason he's asking to leave the room and to go and watch Sesame Street is because he doesn't see you having fun, right? Because I'm guessing he goes to watch Sesame Street and I'm sure he's seen some of those episodes before. If he's like any of the kids I've seen, he probably watches the same Sesame Street episode over and over and over again, right? So it's not that it's the activity that matters. He could do Sesame Street all day. What matters is that it's fun. It's something he's decided is fun. So if you want to continue building cities and trains and all the things you've already been doing, try deciding that it's actually really fun and bringing it in with a new energy yourself and see how that helps. And with any new games that we talk about today, absolutely remember that it's not the game that matters. It's you and your excitement that matters most. Okay? All right, so second thing I want to talk about is I want to help you revive your creativity by doing one trick that I see a lot of parents not do. So a lot of parents are focused, like you said, on the things their child loves, which I think is great. One of our principles at Teach Through Play is that it's important to focus our games and our activities around our child's motivations. So awesome, you are doing that, Jessica. I think it's fantastic. But just because I start with my child's motivation doesn't mean I have to stay there. It just has to be included. So you've already got trains incorporated, you're giving him foot massages, you're including Sesame Street in your games. All that's important. But what about you? Here's point number 2. First, you're going to bring in something that you're excited about, that you are having fun with. And point number 2, one way to do that is to actually bring in stuff that you like, that are your interests. So Jessica, I don't know what you like to play when you were 6, but I would highly encourage you to think back to the kind of games that you played when you were 6 years old. I know for me, when I was 6 years old, my sister and I had so much fun. We played a whole lot. We never had a television, so we played all sorts of things. And one of the things that we loved most was our treasure hunt, basically. So we would take this box of old plastic bead necklaces that we had found at some garage sale, and it was this shoebox full of them, and we thought they were the coolest thing in the world, and we would take turns burying them, and sometimes we did honestly bury them in the yard, and we'd go hide them places, and then we'd draw ourselves a map to go find that treasure, which we already knew where it was because we had buried it, but that wasn't the point. And we'd spend hours packing our lunch and getting out our sleeping bags, which were our horses, so we could ride our horses around, so we could go camping. It would be like a many-day excursion to follow our treasure map to eventually find the treasure that we had hidden ourselves. Why it never occurred to us to ask someone else to hide it, I have no idea. But I know that I really love treasure hunts. That was a lot of fun for me to hide something, make a map, and find it. So if I were playing with Sam, I don't know if he likes treasure hunts. You haven't listed that as one of his interests. But if I were going to play with him, why couldn't I incorporate that? This is all about having fun. And point number 1 is you having fun with the games you're presenting. So why not bring in something you like? So let's say I'm with Sam and I've got his, we're building cities, like you said, to run the trains through. And because that's the same old thing, I want to add something new. So maybe this time I have this map that I happened to draw before I came into the playroom. And it has a map to hidden treasure. And I pull out my map and I say, oh my goodness, Sam, look. I found it. I found a treasure map. Did you know that there's treasure hidden in this room? I don't know, I just found it this morning. It was sitting on the kitchen table. I'm not sure who buried it, but somebody put some treasure in this room. And by the way, I've hidden the treasure already, right? Before I started playing with him. So I've got my map and I bring it out and I'm so excited about it, right? If I brought out that map and I'm like, I found a treasure map. Do you want to play it with me? Maybe? You're not as exciting, right? If you're not excited about it, Sam's not going to get excited about it either. So I've got my cities, we're building cities and trains, and I bring out my treasure map like it's the coolest thing I have ever found in my entire life. And do you think Sam's going to get involved? I would think so. I'm excited about it. And if he doesn't go for it the first time, that's okay. I can bring it back again. I can put it on the floor. And as we're building more of our cities, I go, oh my goodness. Oh, there's someone in this building, Sam. What's that you said? There's treasure in this town? Oh my gosh, Sam, did you hear that? I think this treasure map is for this town that we're building right now. Oh, I'm so excited to find some treasure with you today. So you can keep incorporating your new idea to help revive this game that you've played a million times into an entirely new game, because now you're taking the trains all over the city and following the map to find the treasure that you've buried. And voila, you have the same game with a whole new take on it because you brought in something you loved. So point 1, find a way to get excited about the games you bring because your excitement matters more than the game. And point 2 is to actually take the time to create something that you love, something from your childhood that was fun for you. If you like to play Tea Party, bring in tea parties. Why not? He might love it. Really incorporate things that excite you from when you were little and see if that can revive your games. All right. Point 3 for your creativity. And this one I think is really key because a lot of families, Jessica, just like you said, can you help me come up with new games? So when someone's feeling like the games I'm playing are kind of boring or they're not right or I'm not having enough fun with them, what they try and do is take all the games they played, throw them out the door, and come up with a whole new list of games. And I don't think you need to do that. To me, the third part of really reviving your creativity and finding some new interesting ideas in the playroom is to actually take what you've already got and add variations to what you're already playing. You don't have to actually create a whole new game and start over because he already likes trains. You've been playing that. So if you have to start over and now you're not allowed to play trains, that's not going to work. So instead of trying to start over or completely reinvent the wheel, take what you've already got and add variations to it. So let me give you some examples. So if you know he already likes train games and building cities, awesome. Let me give you some variations. You could build cities and trains, and today Godzilla could come visit the city and knock down buildings, right? And oh no, oh, here comes Godzilla, and you've got to build up the building again. Or if you live in California, maybe it's an earthquake. Oh, it's an earthquake, right? And everything's fallen apart. And then you get to rebuild the cities in new ways, right? So there's a variation on your train game. Another variation on a train game, perhaps something happens with the train. So you're driving through town and I don't know, there's like a giant mud puddle that the train has to get, it drives through and then it gets stuck and it's like, oh, you know, and it needs to go and see the mechanic. So you've got to call the mechanic, but the only mechanic you can happen to reach is a monkey. And so you, of course, have a little monkey hat that you made, you know, with little ears. So you run over and you get your monkey hat and you come back in as a monkey and you be this silly, goofy monkey mechanic to fix the train. And maybe Sam would really enjoy seeing you pretend to be a monkey. Maybe it's nothing he ever thought of before, but because it goes along with the game and it's fun, and because you're having fun doing it, it'll work. Another variation on a train game. So while you're building this whole city, right, you could start to actually extend into other cities, right? Why stick with just one? Maybe your train suddenly can actually fly and you start building cities on the moon. Or your train, you instead of building just a city, build yourself a rocket and go to the moon and visit all the silly people that you get to dress up as when you get there. So trains can take you all sorts of places. Trains could transport all sorts of things. So Sesame Street, you said Sam loves it. So get some Sesame Street characters from some of your favorites. And, you know, Big Bird has his own little car in the train and his head sticks out the top because he's really tall. And you've got Snuffleupagus, right? Is he still there? So he's got his own little car. And all the Sesame Street characters want to go different places. They have like shopping lists that they have to accomplish that day. And so Sam gets to help all of his Sesame Street characters to go and do all sorts of different things. So do you see how I haven't taken away the train and the city? That's still there. But there's so many things you can do within a train and a city that change the game entirely. You spend your time in a grocery store or on Mars or visiting the Sahara and seeing all of the animals that he's never seen before. You've got pictures of them. Add variation as a way to keep the game that he loves, but create something new and entirely different for you and your creativity. All right, so if today's video was helpful to you and you would like more on this topic, do you see I can talk about this for a long time? I'm going to be doing a class and I'd love to invite all of you. So again, it's on September 17th. It's a Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So keep your eyes posted on our website. You can go to www.teachthroughplay.com/events and find out all about this class. Again, it's from the comfort of your own home. All you gotta do is buy your ticket. It's not expensive. And then you have your computer in front of you. You sit, you watch me talk about this topic and give you all sorts of pointers. I'm gonna give you everything I can in 2 hours on creativity. It's gonna be a really awesome class. As always, this has been a ton of fun for me. Thanks for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time in the playroom with your kids. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.